Hi everyone, today I have with me David Cillay, Vice President of the Global Campus at Washington State University. David will be speaking at our upcoming event, New Directions in Online Learning, March 31st through April 2nd in Boston. David, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
We're glad to have you as well. So you'll be giving one of the keynote addresses that discusses issues that keep online learning administrators up at night and approaches that may help you sleep more soundly. So can you give us an overview of some of the things that keep these online learning administrators up at night?
You bet. I think if anybody's read any of the national press, even the local press, you know what we're talking about. We're talking about open education, adaptive learning, alternative credentialing, massive open online courses, and then other things too that might be particular to individual campuses, like how does your online learning operation fit into your on-campus operation, and how does the on-campus operation take advantage of the online operation. So there's a number of things out there that I think there really isn't one answer for everyone to every question. And I think part of this session is really digging into the different types of characteristics that make up the university leaders that are in the audience, and kind of talking through what sort of solutions make sense for your campus.
Online learning as an environment is constantly in a state of flux, and that rate and scope of flux has only increased in the last year and a half. So can you talk about the factors that have led to that increased rate of change?
Sure. I think one of the things that's obvious is if you look at our society in general, online is really the way that many of us live. We bank online, we shop online, we date online, we do all of these things online, and I think it's just a natural extension that education is going to be expected to follow suit. And then if we also look at the fact that we're looking at educating more of our citizens in society. We're looking at how we reduce costs to that education. And I think online education is something that more and more people have gravitated towards to at least help answer some of those questions or address some of those issues.
Yeah, definitely. I know we've done a lot of groundwork laying down the issues. Now, obviously, administrators are wondering, what are the solutions? And more than that, so I guess, what are some key things that they can actually tangibly implement on their school, regardless of, size, regardless of money? I know that's kind of a big task, but what are some of the solutions that you have in mind?
Sure. Well, I don't want to give away the farm. I mean, you got to come to Boston, right, and have some fun there. But the key, I think, to all of this is that to solve, or at least to answer the questions, individual leaders on each campus really has to understand what makes up their campus, where their strengths are, how they fit on the national scene or on the local scene. And it sounds obvious, but sometimes it's some really difficult questions that you have to ask yourself. What type of university are you, and what can you do? And depending on the types of topics we were talking about, each one of those answers is going to vary probably for each member of the audience. And so one of the things that we will do is we'll talk through specific examples for specific universities and talk about, I wouldn't call them a solution, I would call it an approach. Mm-hmm. How do you approach adaptive learning? How do you approach alternative credentialing on your campus?
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I want to talk a little bit more about what's happening. I mean, we're talking about what's happening now, but I know in the last month, the Babson report came out for this year, and the recent research shows that there's the slowest growth of enrollment in online enrollment since they've been doing this research for more than a decade. Now, it still is surpassing enrollment levels or increases in enrollment levels for all of higher education, but it's something that sort of caused pause in the industry, I think. And given this kind of new reality, or we're moving in this reality, what do you think online learning administrators can do to ensure this continued success in a potentially changed or maybe not as high of a growth situation?
Yeah, I would. I don't know if I would take the counterpoint, but I think if I recall from the last survey to this survey, we still had 400,000 new students taking online courses, and previously it was 500 or 600,000. So I still think there's quite a bit of growth potential. I would offer that if you really want to poise yourself or position yourself for the future, and you are engaged in online education, don't make it something else that your university does. Make it part of the foundation of your university. It's just another way of extending higher education, another tool in the toolbox. And being able to identify those strategies that allow you as a leader on that campus to help others understand the value of online education, not just for online audience or students at a distance, I think positions you well for the future.